What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to World Kidney News. This is your boy, Steve Belcher. Thanks for joining us this evening. Man, how's everyone doing? And man, it's been a minute since we've been on the air. Last week, I did a lot of videotaping at a lot of the Vitas, a lot of the Fresenias that are located right directly next to Dollar General. So please, be aware, get tested for kidney disease because the life you save may be your own. Also, I see the country is slowly, surely opening back up. Be safe. If you don't feel comfortable going out there, don't go out there, especially if you're a kidney warrior. You know, if you don't feel safe just because everyone else is doing it, don't do it because I know you won't do it. So please, if you do, just maintain your social distances, take a bottle of hand sanitizer, maybe some Lysol wipes, your mask, and go about your day. This evening, we have a great guest. In fact, before this show, I was thinking to myself, this is maybe the fourth or fifth person that's been on our show that has kidney disease, have a transplant, or some dealing with kidney disease, and that works in the dialysis. I mean, I know many more people that work in dialysis that has kidney disease, but they just haven't been on the show yet. But this thing is big, guys. When I was working in the field back in '85, I would have never thought any of my colleagues would be on dialysis. Wouldn't have never thought that in 1985. Here we are, 2020. You got clinics just exponentially all over the place. It's almost like fixtures in the neighborhood. So guys, I'm telling you, this is nothing to play with. If you got diabetes or hypertension, or if you don't know for sure, go to your primary care. If you don't got insurance, go somewhere where you can get free checkup to find out if you got kidney disease, high blood pressure, or diabetes, because those are the two leading causes of kidney failure. But tonight, our guest, she deals with kidney failure in a different way. And she's going to tell you her story. 3-year veteran of the Vita dialysis technician, patient advocate, and received a kidney from her brother. So I'm going to give her the special welcome, and I'm going to bring on our guest, Ashley Thompson. Let me give her the special welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from northern Minnesota, Ashley Thomas. What's going on, Ashley?
Hi, hello everybody.
I finally got you on here. I mean,
I
what has been
I
about
know.
2 months?
Yeah, I've been watching you silently.
Yeah, I want to thank you for your support because I'm sure there's other individuals who work in dialysis that may watch some of the shows, but you've been unwavering your support, uh, adding in to the conversation, and I just want to thank you because I don't get a lot of people who work in dialysis to come on and just add value to the show. I mean, I know probably a lot of people hate me in dialysis because I may speak the truth, but I mean, the truth is the truth. And the one reason why I like to have technicians who may have dealt with kidney disease who know both sides of the fence because you can get an understanding of what's going on once you get inside the door. And you can make a difference at your level, but we all know at the top of all the way at the top, we really can't do nothing about it because everything really comes from the top down.
Yep.
But with that being said, thank you so much um, just for commenting, your support, and taking the time to come on the show to share your story. Thank you so much.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Ashley, how does your journey start with kidney disease that lands you right here on World Kidney News?
Well, I'll start from the beginning.
Sure.
I was 7 years old and always sick. At this point in time, my grandfather had already had a kidney transplant in 1972, and then my cousin Michael had already had a kidney transplant when he was 18 months old.
Wow.
He was maybe 5 years old at the time. Can't really remember correctly. But my cousin Christopher was born with 50% kidney function. And with me being
Wow.
so sick, um, I went to the ER. They drew some labs. Not entirely sure what they saw. Maybe electrolytes were out of whack. I was dehydrated for sure. They decided to do a renal biopsy. And then that's when they found out I had 75% function at 7 years old. They did
Wow.
the genetic testing, and then a German doctor is the one that then diagnosed our family with this really rare condition called Townes-Brock syndrome. Um,
Townes-Brock syndrome. I
yes,
never heard of that.
yes, it is very rare. It affects people in 1 to 250,000, but rare enough, my family has 9 members with this
Wow.
disease.
9 members.
Yes, which is also rare to have that
Wow.
many family members in one family to have. Yes.
Wow. I want to have to look that up tonight, do some research on that because I mean, I know there's other genetic conditions that cause kidney disease. It's not just diabetes, hypertension. They just happen to be the two leading causes.
Yes.
But Townes-Brock syndrome. Do you
Yes.
know anyone else with that other than your family members? Is there like a support group for that?
Ironically enough, I did look up on Facebook Townes-Brock syndrome, and there is a page. So I joined that today. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Today.
Yes, I joined it today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, so at 7 years old, you found out you had 75% kidney function.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, did they do everything they could at that point to, preserve that kidney
So,
function you had left?
yeah. So, I had yearly checkups all the way up until probably my mid 20s. In middle school, I was diagnosed mild hypertension, like borderline hypertension,
Mm,
because obviously when your kidneys start to slow down, the blood pressure, because it controls blood pressure. Kidneys
right.
do a lot of things. Um, I didn't get on blood pressure medicine. They put me on enalapril. That was not for my blood pressure though. It was to slow down the protein output.
Sure.
Um, but then when I was off of that, 3 years ago is when I ended up taking blood pressure medicine when I started with DaVita because it was running super, super high. That's when I found out my function was at 14%.
Mm.
So it took a big drop from 6 months prior from 23 to 14. And it was because of the blood pressure had finally like gone out of whack. It came back
Okay.
up to 20%, but my nephrologist at the time here in Minnesota was like, you can get on the list. We can start the process. Of course, I had already been working with DaVita and was like, yes, I don't want to do dialysis.
Wait a minute. So you started working with DaVita while you had kidney disease, but you weren't on dialysis.
Not on dialysis, not on the
Uh,
transplant list. Dialysis was my dream job. So
really?
I was going to school as a medical assistant to get my foot in the door, but when
Can
I
I say
moved,
one thing?
yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but it's really ironic that you said you was going to school for medical assistant because in 1985, I was going to school for medical assistant uh,
Nice.
down in Austin, Texas, at the Capital City Trade and Technical School.
Mhm.
And maybe like 2 months into that course, I went down to the job placement lady and asked her if she know where I could get a job to kind of get my foot in the door somewhere. And I never forget, she gave me the information to the Austin Diagnostic Clinic, and that's how I got involved in dialysis. But it's just ironic that you was
Yeah.
doing medical assistant. Wow.
Yep. Yep. So I got into DaVita after my first year of the medical assistant program. Um, they do paid training. You don't have to go to school. Same thing for Fresenius. They do paid training. Um, but anyways, it was summer of 2018 is when we started the transplant process, the testing here in Minnesota. I was accepted like 3 or 4 months later. It was actually a really fast process. I was shocked. Um, and then the following, sometime within that year, I had like up to like 6 people get tested. Some were turned away, some were too young. Even my brother was turned away here in Minnesota because of
Wow.
because of his BMI. And every transplant program has their own protocols.
Got you.
So I multi-listed to Wisconsin, the University of Wisconsin, which is where my past family members have had their transplants. So I'm a little biased. I was more comfortable probably going there anyways. My brother was accepted. I was accepted in July. He was accepted in October of 2019.
Awesome.
So we went ahead and scheduled the surgery this past January 9th to be exact, the day after I turned 34 years old. And I'm 5 months post this past ninth.
Oh, congratulations. And you don't look 34. I thought you was in your 20s. I'll
Thank
be
you.
honest
Perfect.
with you. Yeah.
My mom would
Wow.
probably take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now let me ask you this because you were in a very precarious position. I mean, you're dealing with kidney disease, function is at, a certain percentage, and you're working in dialysis and seeing, however your work schedule was, the you know, firsthand
Mhm.
of what patients dealt with.
Yep.
Um, with that being said, did you ever like worry of being in that position? Of course, you didn't go on dialysis because you
Right.
had the presenter, but did it ever come a time where you were working and you said people got tested and turned away? Your brother, they didn't accept them for the BMI. Was there ever a time that you was discouraged? Working in the field, seeing patients getting sick, and all the things that we see as uh, uh, dialysis caregivers. Did ever like play on the back of your mind that you may be in that, see yourself in that position?
Yeah. And in fact, this kidney is not guaranteed. Things happen, and I could always end up in that chair or, doing PD at my bedside every day. But I did do the Kidney Smart class. I got myself educated on the different modalities. Um, because, you know, it was always a possibility. But I did push for it to happen probably sooner than I needed it to. But then again, I'm 34 years old, you know, newly engaged, want to have a family. So I didn't want this to control me. I wanted to have every opportunity to be in control. And then this was
Mm-hmm.
my way of, you know, yes, it could last me 2 years, but there's no guarantee that my own kidneys could go 2 years before having the transplant. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what can happen. So if I'm healthy, I'm young, this is probably the best time to do it than waiting when I'm older, so to speak.
Right. Right. So what have the doctors told you about chances of the Town-Brock syndrome reappearing with this new kidney?
Um, that I haven't actually asked them. I know it, like, I'll always have Towns-Brock syndrome, but it was just what it is a mutation to the SAL1 gene. And not everybody gets the kidney disease. It's just one of the side effects or the symptoms.
Are there any other side effects?
Yes. In fact, everything that you read on there, I had. Perforated anus, clubfoot, hearing loss, Duane syndrome in my right eye, which means a nerve didn't go to a muscle, so I can't move it to the right. Um, you can have double digits on your fingers, your toes. I have the crooked thumbs, but my aunt and my grandfather had two thumbs on one hand.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of deformities, birth defects, sort of thing. Um, and my mom has four children, and I'm the only one that got it. You know,
Right. Um, how do you spell that?
it is TOWNES and then syndrome.
Okay. Okay. Now, does any of those symptoms uh now I was reading a comment. I'm sorry. Now, does any of those symptoms affect your job performance or maybe hampers that?
Um, I would say my ankle probably gives me the most trouble from the club foot. I only had one surgery, um, and that was back in 1986. They did that at birth. That's the only surgery I've had. When you hear of club feet now, I mean, there's children that have multiple surgeries. Um, I do have a plastic insert that goes into my shoe. Does need to be updated, but it helps a lot. But there's three bones inside that ankle, the three main ones. They're deformed, so to speak, and so they'll like catch on each other. You know, my foot will give out a lot. It does get sore, a little swollen being on my feet those 12,
Oh, I
14
know
hour
about,
days.
yeah, I know.
but yeah, I mean, even before the transplant, I mean, those anything that goes along with the Towns-Brock syndrome, nothing ever really slowed me down. Even the kidney disease never really slowed me down. I tend to over push my limits when I shouldn't.
Sure, sure. That's understandable. Now, um, oh, oh, that's the background. Okay. Now, look, what has been the biggest challenge for you dealing with working in dialysis?
Um, for me personally, it's probably the long hours right now. Um, but seeing the patients get so sick or the patients that are non-compliant, I mean, that's heartbreaking. You know, seeing them give
Mm-hmm.
up, or like, you know, and some of them are just comfortable doing dialysis. They enjoy it. Um, I have a patient that's my age, and it's like, you can feel as good as I feel. You don't have to come here every day, you know. But I love my job. It's the long hours. It's the time between shift overs. You know, it's you know, it all gets crazy. You know.
Right, right. No, I understand. When I first started seeing you on our shows and commenting, I didn't know that you worked in dialysis. I thought you were a patient advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you had a transplant and you was at the clinic and you decided to go back and educate the people. That's what was in my mind. Wasn't thinking that you actually was working in the facility.
Yeah.
So can you share some of the education that you go over with the patients? I mean, let me ask you this. Do you find yourself doing maybe a lot more extra education than maybe some of the other employees that may work who haven't, experienced kidney disease?
Right.
Can you
Yeah.
share that with us?
Yeah. So at my clinic, I'm also vascular access manager.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I hear you.
So I do a lot of that stuff, the paperwork for the new cannulations of the fistulas,
Sure.
the monitoring of the maturation. I go over all that stuff with my nurse weekly and then monthly before she does her meetings with the medical director and the FA. Um, and especially when I came back from the surgery, I had a lot of patients kind of like perk up and want to know more. Some that were like scared to do the surgery, and so now they're not so scared, and so I just share my experience, and there's no pain because maybe some were just scared of the pain process, or
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So the patients at your facility knew that you were dealing with kidney disease?
yep, yep. I'm an open book. I've shared my story from the beginning. I feel like that was a kind of an up on my end for people to get comfortable with me. I don't know what you're going through, but someday I might. You
Mm.
don't know what it's like to go through the surgery like I did, but someday you might. So we can share experiences and educate each other, that sort of thing.
Bro, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I know I would feel really good if you shared that with me. If I was on dialysis and you came and told me that, that would definitely make me, feel comfortable having you as a caregiver because at least you understand. Like you said, you're not in this position where I'm at, but you could be.
You're right.
You know,
Yep.
wow.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of patients respected you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of close patients. It's kind of hard not to cross those professional barriers because my first priority is to give them safe, adequate dialysis. Of course, you
Hmm.
build friendships within the clinic, but I want them to be safe and, I educate them on their fluids. I try not to overstep, and
Sure.
I'm a tech. I'm not a nurse, so I can't like delegate. You should be doing this, this, and this. But it's, you know, communicating with my nurse. I know what I can say or not say.
Have you thought about going to nursing school?
Yes, I slowly worked on my prerequisites before the surgery. I ended up having to drop those classes shortly after the surgery because it was too much.
Sure.
Um, recovery, being tired and just sleeping a lot, I couldn't really keep up. But yeah, I'd like to be a nurse. In fact, I don't want to work with DaVita forever or even Fresenius, maybe if that happens someday. My goal is to reach people that have the kidney disease in the earlier stages to help them either prevent dialysis or to
Like pre-CKD.
preserve, yeah, or preserve the function that they have so they don't have to, go down either one of them roads because they can, I mean, you can change your diet and exercise and, you know, prevent the further progression.
Oh, absolutely.
I was young in the process, and so I wasn't all that great about it at some points in my life, which then led me where I'm at now. But I have no regrets. It's helped me with my career, so to speak. So,
Wow. No, I mean, just hearing you talk about how you care about your patients, I'm saying to myself, you would make a great nurse.
yeah,
You would
thank
make
you.
a great nurse. Um, so wow. Now, can you just share some of the some of the bad parts of dialysis you may had experience? as a tech?
Well, of course, there's some that leave and go home and you expect to see them Monday morning and then you find out that you're not going to see them again. Because I tell my patients all the time with the gaining 4 or 5 kilos between every treatment or even through a weekend, that's super hard on your heart. You can end up having a heart attack. And unfortunately, that's an ultimate despise for some people. Of course, I hate seeing them throw up. I mean, you're trying to challenge them and then they get super sick and then you end up having to put a bunch of fluid back on them. And it's like, this contradicting the whole entire purpose of this. Yeah, that's probably the hardest part for me.
Have you experienced a code yet at your facility?
I have not.
Okay.
We train on it.
Right.
I mean, before I worked for DaVita, I did CNA work, 1 year neuro ICU. So I worked with codes in the ICU before, so I'm a little familiar with it. But yeah, not for dialysis. And to me, I don't know if I would even take that very well, just because every time I go to work and something happens, I picture myself.
Sure. Now that's understandable. Ashley, share with us how your facility dealt with your situation pertaining to this COVID-19.
Yeah, so early April is when I went back to work. Of course, that was when things were starting to come out, and I was scared to go back to work. I will be honest. I know my family and my fiance was scared. I did go back for a couple days, and then I decided, oh, I'm not ready yet. This is just too much. I took another 2 weeks off. The team was great about it. They covered where I was scheduled the best they could, or got floats to help. But yeah, we've taken, I actually feel comfortable going to work because of the precautions, on top of what we were already doing because we deal with blood. But everybody wears a mask. There's no visitors. You get tempted and masked and asked a series of questions the second you walk into the building within 30 seconds. And then, of course, the hygiene is just off the wall for all of us. I even wear my mask in public. So yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of stuff in place to prevent the spread. We get a PUI. They automatically go into a private room to get screened further. And then, of course, if they test positive or a family member tests positive, they automatically go to a separate clinic until they get tested and it comes back negative. So to me, that makes me feel safe and comfortable, because even if I were to come in contact and, okay, now they're going to another clinic, but I'm taking precautions myself, treating everybody like they're positive.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just saying, I treat everybody like they're positive. Even if COVID wasn't really a thing and I come back to work, I had my brain trained on all this. I change my clothes before I leave the clinic. My shoes stay at the clinic. I shower the second I get home. So those are things that I wasn't necessarily doing before the surgery that I implemented after the surgery. And then, of course, because of COVID.
Wow. Now, your mom, she received a transplant.
Yeah, 2 years ago, this past March.
Now, did she ever experience dialysis?
She did not. She did get a fistula placed. Yep.
She got a fistula placed, but got the transplant before it came to that point.
Yep. In fact, they never would have been able to use it because it grew sideways instead of straight up. It kind of went down under the arm, which cannulating an access under the armpit is a pain in the butt.
Right. Now, Ashley, being that your mom dealt with Townes-Brocks syndrome, at what age was it discussed with you?
Well, ironically enough, I mean, sorry, Mom, I know you're watching. She never went to the doctor for many years that I can remember. Of course, no health insurance or whatever the case was. She got super sick about 3 years before her transplant. They went into the testings, and I believe she was at 13% when she found out how bad her kidneys were. Of course, she didn't do the steps that I did, keeping an eye on it and going to the doctor to try and slow it down or prevent it. But ironically enough, she was able to wait until she was over 50 years old to do her surgery. She didn't need it until she was after 50.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't know any of us really had Townes-Brock syndrome until I was diagnosed and did the testing. My grandfather had his transplant, and then within a few years apart of Michael having his and Christopher being born, and I was 7, that's when it kind of all came about, because Christopher and Michael are only a few years apart. So
Okay, so your brothers, they don't have it.
Nope, my brothers don't have it, neither does my sister.
Wow.
Nope. And then Michael, he's got another brother, he doesn't have it. Christopher has a sister, she has it along with their mom, and then Michael's dad has it.
Now, are their kidneys affected?
Yep. They all have pretty good kidney function as of right now. My aunt does, and my cousin Natasha. My aunt's kidneys are good, and then Natasha's kidneys are about 30-some%, I believe, if I'm correct. I think Lori's watching. She'll correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is very interesting. And this goes to show how serious, kidney disease is, and it needs to be shed a light, not just for the 2 leading causes of it, but for a lot of the genetic disorders. Again, this was my first time hearing about Townes-Brock syndrome, and it's just very interesting that you have so many people who deal with kidney disease, but you may not actually know what the actual diagnosis is from. It doesn't always have to be diabetes and hypertension,
Right.
Lupus, or maybe some medication issues, or polycystic, or even any other type of genetic um, problems that may cause when you're a kid. So, wow. Now, when you was young, after 7, you didn't experience any issues up until the time that you were in your 20s?
Yeah, no, I, maybe would get sicker a little easier, because even with kidney disease or, any kind of,
Chronic illness?
health issues, your immune
Mm-hmm.
system does take a little bit of a hit. Um, so, I found myself getting sick a lot. I'd get the flu, the colds and all of that stuff. 2 weeks after my transplant, I got the flu. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
had the kidney disease, and now I'm immune suppressed, and it was that easy for me to get sick. But I don't remember ever having, any major hospitalizations once I
Mm-hmm.
was diagnosed. Being young and sick all the time, I don't remember being as sick as I was before the diagnosis.
Sure. Now, how many pills are you taking now since your transplant?
6 in the morning, 6 at night. I'm only on 2 anti-rejection medications. I take the 3 milligrams of tacrolimus morning and night. I mean, when I left the hospital, I was taking 7 in the morning, 7 at night. So it has come down quite a bit. And then I take the myfortic acid, and I take 750 milligrams morning and night. And then, so those are 2 pills each. And then I take 1 aspirin, 81 milligram aspirin in the morning, and then, of course, a cholesterol pill in the evening, and that's it.
Wow. Why is it? I mean, I know everybody's different. I mean, I've seen people who listed their medications, on social media, and I mean, it's like, wow,
Yeah.
like all these medicines up to maybe 20, maybe 30,
Yeah.
total. How does yours get to be so low? Does because of the match of the transplant?
That's very possible. I know they told me. So Nathan and I, who's my brother, we only match by blood type. The 6 antigens of the kidneys don't match, but they are similar antigens. So when they mixed I don't know what all they mixed together, but my immune system never attacked his when they mixed everything together. So that's very possible. I know I was on prednisone the first 3 days after the surgery. I gained 10 pounds from being on the prednisone for 3 days. Um, but they were able to take me off of it. Thank goodness, because I know my grandpa was on that for 37 years with his kidney, and I did not. I mean, you get sores, you gain weight. I was on prednisone years ago, and I blew up with fluid. Um,
Wow.
yeah, but
Wow.
yeah,
So what you're saying is usually when someone gets a transplanted kidney from a donor, when they put the kidney in the recipient antigens normally attack the
where
other
they're
kidneys or start.
well, though your body will develop like antibodies to attack the
Right, right.
antigens.
But
I
that
never
didn't
developed
happen
it.
in your case.
No, and in
Did they say
July,
that was rare? Is that like
I
something
did
rare
ask
that
them.
normally happens?
I don't know. I did ask them if maybe the paired exchange program was a better option. Would there be, because the 6 antigens didn't match, would there be a better match out there? And they said no. This is by far probably the best match you'll find.
Wow.
So I know in July is my 6-month appointment. They're going to do an antibody testing to see if I've developed any antibodies against
But
the
so
kidney.
far you haven't.
No.
Wow.
Nope.
Remarkable.
Yep.
Um,
He might as
so
well have been my twin.
right. So tell us, can you just share with us the day you heard that all this was going to go down, the transplant? How did you find out?
So, my brother, I was in class. I was in microbiology. Man, that class is hard. Um, and I was between lecture and lab, and he had called me, and I was like, okay, and I knew he was doing the testings and talking with his coordinator. And so he called me. I went outside, and he called me. He goes, so guess what? I'm a match. We get to do this. I get to be your donor. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is so amazing. Like, I was just, shocked. But of course, being the big sister that I am, my most concern was him. you know Really, what you want to do, you don't have to. I don't want, I'm not pressuring you. I'm still considered healthy. I still have residual function. I'm still urinating. you know he dealt with his past issues. I didn't want anything of that to come back up. And so, because of pain medicine and stuff, so I was like, my main concern was him, not me. So then once he reassured me he was good, it was just like I could have cried, honestly. My brother and I are like best friends. We're only a year and 3 months apart. He's been through a lot. I've been there for him. I've been through a lot. He's been there for me. And it's something special when siblings can do that for each other, let alone strangers.
Sure. Sure. That's awesome. I mean, because I mean, truth be told, you got some siblings who may be in a situation that wouldn't even go for testing. I
Yep.
mean, and that's
Yeah.
just the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
working in dialysis, I mean, we see it all. I
Yeah.
mean, by just talking with different people. I mean, you in Minnesota, I'm here in, DC, but even though we at different places, I mean, it's similar situations with someone dealing with kidney disease, um, there's always going to be some commonality uh, of situations. It may not be the same diagnosis, but
Right.
it all comes down to kidney. Once kidney disease is kidney disease, and it, affects.
Don't matter how you get there.
Yeah, yeah. Now, have you seen in your career uh, any patients with multiple failed accesses?
Yeah, I recently had one that just get a couple just get a second one placed. Yeah, I've
Have you
had
seen
one.
more than two?
Um, I've had people be exhausted accesses, and they have a permanent catheter now because they've exhausted their options. Bad veins. Blood clotting. I mean, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's where you know to me it could be a little disturbing with the education because um if someone goes and get evaluated to get an access and they get vein mapping done and the surgeon they could tell right then and there if they're able to do the surgery.
Yep.
And they do the surgery, attempt to try, and next thing you know, the access doesn't develop or it's immature, and now they're on to another site. And
they'll keep going, and what's the point when you already know the outcome?
right.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, do you at the facility where you work at, do a lot of patients do a lot of self-advocating?
Yeah. 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 For the most part, I mean, some are more. I have some that are more advocating for like this area, but not so much. Maybe their access because maybe they just don't know. They're not as educated. But yeah, I'm a firm believer in self-advocating, and so I always tell people, oh, you want me to cannulate differently? You just tell me. This is your arm, this is your lifeline. My job is to make it happen in 3 days a week. You have to do this, and so I don't want you to go through another surgery. Because that's worse for your body, your immune system. So yeah, self-advocating. I'm a big firm believer in that. So.
Mm-hmm. Ashley, in Minnesota, is there a lot of facilities starting to pop up, or I don't know the whole population out there, but I mean, are there starting to be facilities where you can go to if you want to do PRN, you can go over here, go over there, or
I watched your lives, going to where the clinics are, and I find myself being more aware of the locations. Right here in the town that I live in, there's townhouses and then a daycare and then tobacco shop and Target and fast food. You go down the road to another town and there's another. There's DaVita and Fresenius probably in every suburb here in Minneapolis.
wow.
I mean, I see more DaVitas than I do Fresenius, but maybe it's just because I'm more aware because I work for them. But
yeah. Look, I was at a place in Texas called Pearland, Texas, where my sister, not my real sister, but Stephanie Jenkins. But there's a DaVita across the street in the shopping center, and then right across the highway, I mean, you can walk. There's a Fresenius, so they like facing each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't make this up.
No, I believe it.
So, wow. So, have your facility experienced any staff shortages since the COVID, or y'all been pretty well good?
No, we've actually been pretty good.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, my we're a 12-chair facility, and we've got like 6 techs and 3
12
nurses.
chairs.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you
I
got
am
it
blessed I
made.
don't work in no 60-chair facility or even a 24-chair
Right,
facility.
12 chairs. Oh man, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
That I know you got it. I ain't gonna say you got it nice, but it's. I would take 12 chairs over
Yes.
24, 30 chair
Yes.
unit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the next size is gets to like 9 chair unit. They're mostly in nursing homes, 6 to 9 chairs. Do y'all have any nursing home facilities in Minnesota that have dialysis units located inside?
Not that I know of. I've only been in Minnesota for 2.5 years,
Okay.
so I'm not too familiar with the long-term facility. I did work for one long-term facility right away when I moved here. They did not have one. Um, but yeah, I'm not too familiar with nursing homes that would.
Wow. Candy, she's in Pittsburgh. She said they got both in the same strip mall, both for 24 chairs in the same strip mall.
That's
I mean,
crazy.
where are you going to get all these patients from? I mean, if it's 24 chairs and if you open 6 days a week and you do 3 shifts, I mean, theoretically they're set up to do 3 shifts a day. But if it got to that point, where are all these patients going to come from in both units? They must know something we don't know because that's a
Right.
lot of patients.
Yeah. I know I got one facility that's got a wait list because, they want to add ISO chairs, and once they add ISO chairs, then we got, people will start coming. They're only a 3-day a week clinic, so eventually they're going to turn into a 6-day a week clinic.
Mm.
My
Oh
clinic's a
yeah.
6-day a week clinic with no isolation. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's mind-boggling of how many patients are added daily to need dialysis, whether it's AKI or end stage. You know, I think I've
Mm-hmm.
seen more AKIs in the last year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's from the COVID because
I know
there's
that could be possible, yeah, because that's a side effect, or it's causing kidney issues.
right, but they recovered. Those AKIs.
Yeah, yep. We've not had so far. We haven't had any AKIs become end stage. We've been able to, get them back out the door where they belong.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hopefully they don't have any future issues.
Right, right. Yeah, that's our hope.
Yeah. Always when we had AKIs back in the past, maybe someone may have had a stroke or had an overdose and their kidneys temporarily shut down. We would do acute dialysis. And, when you're in the hospital and you're doing acute, when their function come back, you can see the Foley bag filling up with
Yep.
urine. So that's how you know the kidneys are kicking back in. And it
Yeah.
just needs to be a great sight to see that
Oh yeah.
for patients that I've treated with AKI and then come back maybe 2 weeks later, after consistently dialyze them and then come in one day and you see urine in the bag.
Yep. 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 I know. I know. Right after my surgery, I mean, that kidney woke up instantly. I didn't need dialysis to wake that kidney up even. You know,
Wow.
that urine, I mean, they were dumping the measuring thing every 15, 20 minutes. I mean, because I was just peeing a lot more than I used to. I mean, I'd go once, twice a day. You know, it
Wow.
was, yeah. I mean, I'd go a lot, but it was just like it took forever to to get all that urine made with my 2 native kidneys.
Mm. So you have 3 kidneys inside you now.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Hmm. How long did you stay in the hospital?
5 days.
Okay. What about your brother?
He stayed 3. Yep.
Okay.
And then I
Well, now
stayed in
this.
Wisconsin. Then I stayed in
Okay.
Wisconsin for a month, and then I came back to Minnesota.
Oh, okay. That's right. You had the surgery in Wisconsin.
Yep.
Now, that's one thing that puzzles me is why does each transplant center have different criteria?
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know. I mean, even if, with Wisconsin taking my brother in, they were like, yeah, we would like you to maybe lose a little bit of weight because it's going to be beneficial for you, with your healing and then, all that stuff. And so they accepted him, but I mean, Minnesota wouldn't. He didn't even get past he didn't even make the testing part. The the
Wow.
website questionnaire. I mean, he was cut out instantly.
Wow. They chopped him off even before he can get in the door.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yep.
Well, you know what? You know what? I'm not sure what your faith is, but maybe that wasn't the place. You needed to go to, you needed to go to Wisconsin. Maybe, you know, uh Minnesota wasn't the spot for this.
Right. Right.
Because
I'm a firm believer in that.
yeah, because for all this, to happen, like you said, with the match and you not taking a whole bunch of medicine. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah. I hope it stays that way. That's the plan anyways.
Right, right. So, well, look, I know you got to work tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I ain't gonna hold you, but before we kind of wind down, and I'd like to thank your mom, Miss Lenore. I'm going to reach out to her and ask her to come on as well one day. I'd definitely like to hear her story.
Oh,
Um,
her story's interesting, especially after transplant. She hasn't had a smooth ride like I have, so.
right, right. Yes. So, Miss Lenore, I will be reaching out to you soon. But, hey, Ashley, I mean, I know you didn't uh, hit dialysis and you was almost there, but what can you share with people who may be watching this, being that, I mean, you do have kidney disease, you had a transplant, and you work in dialysis. I mean, what words of encouragement and uh, just some general thoughts that you can give kidney warriors watching this, patients on dialysis, maybe people who are in the one of the five stages that this may happen. What words of encouragement or thoughts could you share before you go?
Yeah. So definitely if you're in the first 1 to 4, even 5, and you're not on dialysis, and you're still feeling kind of healthy, and you want to push off dialysis, get that ball rolling with transplant. Preemptive transplant. For some reason, I don't know if it's just they don't want it to happen, but even I was almost talked out of it. My nephrologist was like, you could probably get 2 years with this kidneys or these kidneys, and it's like, you can't guarantee me that. And my whole purpose of doing preemptive is to not end up in this chair or having a bunch of supplies in a machine next to my bed. 34 years old, I want to have children, newly engaged, want to get married. Um, so advocate for yourself, push for it, um, and ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask any type of questions you may have. Every time I went and saw my nephrologist, from family planning to dialysis to anything I could think of, I would ask. And there were times I would even stump her. That's how you know you're being a good advocate for yourself, when you stump the professionals. Um,
Mm.
and if you're on dialysis, keep pushing for transplant. You know, I don't know everything, but the techs and the nurses there have your best interest at heart. They want you to have that transplant. They don't want you in those chairs. So again, advertise. I was in a parade a year ago in my hometown. There was like 40 of us in this parade just advocating and pushing for living donations. You don't have to be a deceased donor and wait until you're passed. You can be a living donor and you can live a happy life. I have 3 family members in my family who have donated, and they've lived, I've got an uncle who's 13, 14 years past donating to his son, and he's still living a healthy, normal life. My stepdad donated, 2 years ago so my mom could do the paired exchange program, and he's happy and healthy and living a good life. My brother, he's probably going to have the same outcome. Just advocate for yourself, ask the question, and reach out to me if you need to. I'd be gladly to answer any questions anybody has.
Mm-hmm. And what can you just say about Towns-Brock syndrome? I mean, I know it's rare, but it does exist.
Right.
Now, do you know maybe about how many people each year it affects? I mean to put you on the spot.
I know when I did research on it, I've been doing research on it since I was in high school. It affects 1 in 250,000 people. So to me that's rare. You get, Blaine here and there's like over 200,000 people. I'm probably that one that has it. That's how rare it is.
Wow. Wow. Well, I really, really want to thank you for sharing this information on Towns-Brock syndrome, because I never heard of it. I was ignorant to it, and I learned something new tonight. And so I thank you. And again, thank you for sharing your story, coming on. Thank you for working in, dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you to go to nursing school, because I know you'll be a good charge nurse. For some reason, I always can feel like when I meet someone who works in dialysis, I don't know, it's just God gave me that intuition. I mean, but I can't tell you how many people that I said that to and they end up being nurses.
Yeah.
But I encourage you to go back and do what you can do. And, whether you stay in dialysis or move on, I know you'll be a great nurse, whichever, profession of nursing you'll get into.
Totally. Nephrology is close to me, so I think I'll always stay in nephrology wherever it ends up leading me. But, that's my passion, and obviously my story, it has a purpose, and so I'm going to carry it with me and help somebody else.
Right. You got Jamie Burns. She said, this girl is a warrior in its true meaning. She did advocate for herself, and she did a ton of work to get word out about live kidney donations and educating people about being a donor. Love you, Ashley. She continues to inspire me and her patience on it. See, that's what we need. We need more. See, that's what I'm saying. If I don't do dialysis anymore, but if we had, and and let me just take this back. I know that there are a lot of people, technicians and nurses, that do advocate, but this is the thing. These clinics have people working almost like a factory setup. I mean, maybe not the 12 station. I know you have your share, but when you get past that, like 24 chair, 30 chair units, and you run a tight operation, maybe 4 shifts a day or something like that, they have it set up where you can't sit down anymore like I used to do back in the 80s and the 90s, that you're able, like once you put somebody on, you could pull up a stool and you just watch, you have your 3 patients right there, and maybe one may be asleep, one may still be up or watching TV. And it'd be that one person that, you could talk to and maybe educate on something. But now you just can't do that. No, it's no time. And that's why these shows are why we're doing these shows. But I tip my hat off to you for continue to do what you do. Comments such from Jamie Burns, just shows a true testament of your dedication to your patients and to your job. So again, thank you so much. I definitely look forward, to see you commenting on our shows whenever you get an opportunity to watch.
Totally.
And I think I saw one of your coworkers, Carrie Nichols. I would like to get her on one day just to hear other technicians. It's hard getting technicians on this show for some reason. I don't know why. So that's why I thank you for coming on as well, because you didn't have to come on and share your story, even working or naming the company that you work for. So again, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. I enjoyed it.
And so I got to reach out to your mom too. Tell her I will. I look forward to talking with her. Hopefully one day this week I'll reach out to her through Messenger.
Sounds good.
And you can give her my number as well.
Okay.
And have her text me.
Okay.
So again, Ashley Thomas, all the way from northern Minnesota, patient advocate, kidney disease transplant recipient, and a wonderful dialysis technician with world-renowned DaVita Dialysis. Ashley, thank you so much, and I'll be talking with you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Steve.
All right, take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. So, we had a message here from Andrea Lawrence. I'm seriously so proud to call you my sister, Ash. Your dedication to your clients and work is inspiring. Crying over here, reading all these comments from all the people who love you. Continue to be awesome every day. Yeah, hey, Andrea, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting. And please, Andrea, please share with all your friends and family about our shows. Urban Health Outreach Media is World Kidney News is part of I'm getting a little fumbled here. Urban Health Outreach Media and Urban Kidney Alliance. Please share these shows. That's what we like to do. Information is free. Thank you, Leslie, for joining, and everybody else who watched the show, even from my watch party. Carrie, Nichelle, thank you for watching. Kathy, Leslie, Miss Candy, Justin, Superman. Bruh, thank you for watching. We got to get you back on, Superman. See what's going on where you're at. Justin Christensen, Audrey. Oh, guys, tomorrow, 8 o'clock on Urban Health Outreach Media, we bringing back Sisters Against Kidney Disease with the lovely Audrey Bella Langston. That's tomorrow night on Urban Health Outreach Media. You're going to want to watch Bella. I mean, she's off the chain. She ex-retired police officer, done some undercover protective work. You see her, you go to her page, you see her with NBA players protecting these guys, VIPs. We are so happy to have her as a host of Sisters Against Kidney Disease. She's also a kidney warrior, 15-year, probably 16-year transplant recipient. Got that transplant from her godson. So can't wait to see her show. The first episode is tomorrow again, Sisters Against Kidney Disease with Audrey Bella Langston right here on Urban Health Outreach Media with producing his first show, Jared A. Brown, host of Warriors Quest. This is just going to be off the chain. So tune in tomorrow night, Monday, June the 15th, 8 p.m. on Urban Health Outreach Media. Thank you guys for watching. We love you. We had up to 25 people. I know it was from Ashley's side. We had some other people joining, but thank you guys for watching this show. We're on every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after the Lisa Baxter Show. That's World Kidney News. We talk about different topics, have great guests. So tune in every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, World Kidney News. Thank you guys for watching. See, I got 3 more comments before I leave. Let me just address that. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Come on and watch, Leslie. You too, Miss Kathy. Oh, 18 months. Congratulations. Congratulations to you, Miss Kathy. All right, guys. We see you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a great week. Godspeed. Peace.